ourselves to fill out whatever space remains unused on the roof, or have we maxed out our available space?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it was something that Christy and I worked on quite a bit. It's all a strategy in a sense. For this part of the roof, we wouldn't build anything because of the shadow from this wall here. Where you could build potentially is on this roof, but there was a concern about the view shed to the historical route here. What I think Hermosa Beach can be great for, and what's so unique about this city, is that there's something called NEM aggregation. And the way NEM aggregation works is if you've got multiple parcels of land that are adjoining, you can essentially put one solar array and you can apply it to all the meters of all the adjoining parcels. Now, why is that relevant here? Well, you guys have the Greenbelt, which you own, and it adjoins most of the city property. You wouldn't find this in almost any other city in some ways. And all your city properties, they're touching it. So in a way, if you guys wanted to take this to the next step, you could really say, build something on one of these properties, and since all the properties adjoin, you could get larger economies of scale. That's where you guys could really build out more solar. I think in terms of this roof specifically, I think unless you're wanting to do something here, this roof is pretty well filled. I mean, you see a few spaces here, but it wouldn't make sense to bring in new inverters and do all the stringing for just a few.
But we could do a nice roof garden.
Yeah.
But so I think what you're saying with respect to our city properties that are contiguous to the Greenbelt is for South Park, Clark Field and the Clark Building, Base 3, which is our old Parks and Rec building right on Valley Drive, the Civic Center, even Kiwanis and Rotary, which are city buildings, they can all share power so that we get essentially a one-to-one reduction in the city's cost of power by sharing amongst these buildings and amongst the power that we generate, rather than being in a situation where each of these buildings is an independently metered entity, so that if we're overproducing on one building, rather than having it reduce the cost of our power at another building, we would have to sell it back to the utility and they would pay us pennies on the dollar. So it's, in other words, economically advantageous to us to be able to aggregate the properties that are contiguous to the Greenbelt.
Yeah, you can see some real economies of scale. But I think the city was really smart to do this first, because this would be your cheapest installation on a cost per watt that you were talking about for a size system like this. I mean, the roof, you can see there isn't a lot of material here. Your city is really constrained on other rooftops throughout the city. So if you wanted to do this sort of aggregation, what I had originally proposed was across the street from the Clark Center is a long street there where you can basically put shade structures. And you can run that for, 400 yards, and probably offset a large majority of the city's usage. But we'd have to really take a look at the economics. I think the size, you start getting down to the same cost per watt as something up here, or closer to it, but it's also a much larger project.
Right.
So it made a lot of sense to do this first.
So Christy, he's talking about the parking on Valley Drive, right?
Yeah, it's totally.
Thank you.
Yeah.